Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Lucas, aka Lucas R31 Sky, and today I have Gauravir, the boss. We're here to review the West Indies versus India Test match that happened recently. West Indies won the toss and decided to bat first, and really another very poor performance by West Indies in this Test match. Two very poor scores. India only had to really bat once. And Gauravir is the guest to review this with me. And Gauravir, Gaurav, thank you for joining me. India were very dominant. Really didn't really get out of third gear, did they? They were just in cruise control the whole match. Never really threatened, and just dominated West Indies.
Yeah, thank you, Lucas. Hello to everyone. Yeah, India were too good against the average West Indies side, if you can say. West Indies looked quite an average test side. I don't know how they managed to win against England. I think they hardly lose against England in their home series. Our guest, obviously, James will be firing at us, but it's the fact.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that how their record against England is actually pretty good compared to every other nation where they just struggle. I think Jason Holder's got a hold of them a couple of times in recent series.
I think Jason Holder has got a double hundred also against England.
Yeah, he has.
His record has been quite remarkable against England.
But unfortunately, when they play someone else that isn't England, they capitulate and don't really perform well. This is one of those test matches where they were just very poor.
So it looks like England do struggle on the probably the pitches were quite slow and low kind of a pitches, right? The ball wasn't coming to the bat nicely. So in this kind of pitches, England batsmen do struggle.
Yeah, which I don't understand. I don't understand why West Indies produce these kind of pitches, because if you go back in history with West Indies, they don't make spin bowlers. You know, their system's all about pace, intimidation. Michael Holding, Courtney Wold, Curtly Ambrose, just to blast you out of the attack. You know, they haven't got one spinner, never had one spinner that's taken over 200 test wickets. So I don't know why they're producing these pitches. They should be producing green tops with that Duke's ball. Because let's face it, the two West Indies spinners they've got, Cornwell. I know Roston Chase is going to come in the next test match. Rora Kane, they're not world class spinners by any chance. So I don't know why they're playing these slow, almost rank Turner pitches. It's beyond me. They should be picking green top pitches. At least give their bowling some kind of chance. If their batting's going to stink, why not just let the bowlers do their thing? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes, if you look at if you compare their spin bowling and obviously the fast bowling looks quite remarkable. They have Kemar Roach, James Holder, and obviously Alzari Joseph. They are quite remarkable in the Test cricket. They have to produce this something fast bowling kind of a pitches where their bowlers can exploit those conditions.
Just a quick question here. Bulldozer Williams said West Indies haven't been the same since Byron Lara retired. In the Test team anyway. That's a pretty good assumption because they haven't done anything since. Yeah, that's a pretty good take. No, it's just mind blowing that they produce these pitches. Why are you producing rank Turners? You don't have spinners. Look what happened to Ashwin in this Test match. Absolutely destroyed them because they played right into the favour of Ashwin and Jadeja, who are used to rank turning pitches.
They have to think that if we are preparing this kind of pitches, the opposition has a number one ranked bowler in place. Obviously, Ravichandra Ashwin, and you know how difficult Ravindra Jadeja in this kind of pitches.
Well, Jadeja was so he didn't get the wickets like Ashwin did. Ashwin took 10 wickets in his Test match, but Jadeja was also very good. And India play spin better than what the West Indies batsmen do. So why would you give that? It's your home Test series, so you should be playing the conditions to your team, not the opposition team. If you said to India, what pitch do you want? They're going to say, we want slow rank turners. Well, damn it, that's what you got,
Yeah.
slow rank turners. Happy birthday. Congratulations. Makes no sense. West Indies, behind the scenes are a complete mess. They didn't qualify for the World Cup. We get all that. They
Yes.
don't seem to care. And this is just another Test match where they just don't care. And the second Test match, the best of two Test matches, they're probably going to make the same pitch, same dusty old rank turner pitch, and it's going to be an embarrassment.
Yeah, if you look at the West Indies Test squad, obviously, and if you look at their obviously domestic cricket records, they have been quite awful.
Yeah.
I was looking at their obviously domestic cricket records. The player which have been picked by the West Indies team management, they have probably won a 2 Test 100 in their domestic cricket. You can well imagine how they will be performing in this obviously international cricket.
Well, I don't know the ins and outs of West Indies domestic red ball cricket. I know they're heavily invested in the T20 competition. That's one priority where they do lie. Surprise, surprise! It has to be a T20 tournament. But if you're picking the same players over and over again, especially in the batting, that's a huge problem. Either they don't care, or there's no one else. Now they brought in a young debut for this Test match. I actually forgot his name. Sorry about that. He made his Test debut. He's been averaging 40 in the Red Bull domestic series. If you look at other teams, world-class teams, Australia, India, England, an average of 40 in your domestic league doesn't get you into that team. There are a couple of batsmen in Australia that have been averaging 40 in the Sheffield Shield. They're not getting in. There's a couple of batsmen that have been averaging 50 and 60 in the county cricket that are not getting in. And I'm sure there's batsmen averaging 50 or 60 in the Ranji Trophy that are not getting in that team.
Forget about 60, 70. Forget about 60, 70. The one of the Delhi boy, I think, Sarfraz Khan, he's averaging over 80 in the last three Ranji Trophy tournament, and he's not been able to pick in this Test side. And one of the more player, I'm just forgetting his name. I think he has got 2200s in a list in our Ranji Trophy game. I'm talking about the overall record. Still not able to get in this in the Test side because he is probably the opener, and you know how much competition on the opening slot in the Indian team is.
Yeah.
So this is how obviously if you're talking about Yashasvi Jaiswal, I think he had made 900 in the 18 games which he played in the Test cricket. I'm talking about the domestic cricket. That's why he went on to play for the India. He had a quite remarkable IPL. He had quite a remarkable List A career and the Ranji Trophy, and obviously domestic cricket. He was playing for the team. So this is how the thing goes. You have to give the priority to the domestic cricket. If you're picking the batsman, you have to look at him. If he's good enough to play 3 or 4 domestic siege and he has performed well, then you got to pick him for the international cricket.
Well, the problem is West Indies like to pick the same old players. Blackpool should not be. I think Blackpool should not be in this team. Jason Holder should not be in this team. He's been an excellent all-round cricketer for West Indies. And we just mentioned him.
Lucas, if you're saying that Bradford should not be in this team, Jason Holder should not be in the team, you have to look at the other option. How many options do you have? Other option do you have? And I don't think there are too many options left for the West Indies team to be playing in the Test cricket.
Well, that's the problem, and that's the problem with the domestic structure. If West Indies, they failed to make the World Cup against average teams. Let's be honest. They they had average teams in that. Netherlands didn't have a full strength team. Sri Lanka was in that team as well. They're playing a test right now without half of their ODI players in that team. I think damn it, even the United States of America were in this damn Super Six for crying out loud. And Nepal was one of them. And West Indies, they still couldn't qualify, and yet they want to bring those players that couldn't. Yeah, so those players that didn't qualify for that World Cup, they want to play them in the test team. It doesn't make sense. Why would you want to pick those players in the test team that couldn't qualify you for the World Cup? And I'm talking about.
I understood the best. Jason Holder.
Yeah.
You're talking about Jason Holder.
Yeah, Jason Holder, Roston Chase, Kyle Myers. Now I like Kyle Myers. I think he's a good all-rounder. Did well in Australia recently. A couple of years ago, we know what he did in Bangladesh.
Yes.
But he's fallen off the cliff. And that's the problem with these West Indies players. De Silva's one of them. De Silva also had a good tour of Australia, and has fallen off a cliff. So it seems to me that there's no coaching structure. There's no kind of structure to where these players want to play after they finish their test season. There's no red ball structure. They just go off and play T20 cricket, white ball cricket. It seems to me every damn second of the damn day, and they're not getting any red ball structure in. Now, if you're not playing red ball cricket, whether it's domestically, internationally, and you're playing nothing but one ball format, how are you going to improve your skill as a player? That's the same if you're playing red ball cricket and you want to be a white ball cricket player. If you're not playing white ball cricket, it's not going to work. So it seems to me that these are good players. Kyle Myers is a very good player. De Silva is a very good player. But they're not playing red ball cricket. The only red ball cricket they're playing is random series like this. And when they do get in, they get embarrassed. They get absolutely embarrassed because there's no structure. Now, white ball, look what happened in white ball. They haven't even qualified for the World Cup. Yet all they want to say is, oh, well, we didn't have players, we didn't have this, we didn't have that. I'm sorry, it's not good enough. You were a powerhouse team in the 80s and 90s. Curtly Ambrose, Byron Lara, Courtney Walsh, Michael Holding, Chandrapal, all these legends. Gary Sobers, if you want to go back to the 70s. Viv Richards. These are the names that put your team, your country on the map. And they just didn't put them on the map. They dominated Test cricket. They dominated Australia, blew them away in the 80s. And it's all been destroyed. It is all been destroyed by ridiculous structure, too much prioritizing on T20 cricket. Fun fact is, this is the funny bit. You've sacrificed everything for T20 cricket, yet you're not even good in that. You're not even good in that. You've won one World Cup. That was so many years ago. No one cares. It's in the history. Well done. But since that World Cup win, you have done nothing. What have you done? You haven't even made a final. It's ridiculous.
And if you're talking about the World Cup, I think there were a lot of superstars in that team. If you're talking about they were led by obviously very good captain Darren Sammy, and in that team Chris Gale was there, Sunil Narayan was there, DJ Bravo was there, Andrew Russell was there, and there were a lot of superstars. And currently all the superstars playing in the different leagues. You know the reason? The reason is West Indies cricket doesn't provide them too much of a money.
Yeah.
I know obviously the priorities have changed nowadays. People are going after the money, but you gotta obviously understand this fact. The cricketers have a very short life. They play for around 10 years, 12 years, and if the miracle happens, they play for 15 and went on to play 16 or 20 years.
Yeah.
They had to make a money on that point of time. And if the cricket board doesn't support you during that kind of a phase, if the cricket board doesn't provide you that kind of a money, they will be going on to play the leagues, obviously, and the leagues are providing them good enough money to be avoiding their own country. And you
Yeah.
can't obviously point out the cricketers because they have a very short period of time where they can make a money out of it, obviously. And if you look at the system of the West Indies cricket, if you're looking at the red ball cricket, they have been quite awful for a long period of time. As we spoke before also, I think they went on to beat only England in their home condition, and some of the cricketers suddenly fade away from. I think one of the name in the red ball cricket who was very good. I think his name was Shai Hope, and
Yep.
suddenly
Yep.
he's playing only ODI cricket. He is playing only ODI cricket right now. Uh, if you look at the Test cricket, I think suddenly you see Roshan Chase is not there. Obviously, uh, you're talking about why they are not able to succeed in the Test cricket. They are not having a lot of player who is performing well in the domestic cricket and who has went on to play the obviously lighting up the international cricket also. The same average player have been given to the opportunity in the Test arena also, and they have been below average in the international cricket also in the Test
Yeah.
cricket.
See, why were West Indies were a powerhouse in the 80s. They were a legitimate powerhouse. When you played West Indies in the 80s, they
Yeah,
scared the hell out of you. Um,
yeah,
and it's because the governing body at that time. Now let's
yeah.
put this into facts. The governing body of West Indies have more money this year
Yes,
than what West Indies become a powerhouse in the 80s. Let's put that into perspective, right? But because there was no such thing as T20, there wasn't really such thing as ODIs. They called it World Series cricket under Kerry Packer in Australia.
yeah,
Um, they could afford to put all that money into red ball cricket, and they dominated.
yes.
They dominated cricket for a decade. They won the World Cup back in the 70s. Now they're not doing that. They're putting all of their money, all of their resources into T20 cricket. That's fine. I've got no problem with that. That's completely fine. The problem is when you're putting all that money into that format and you're not winning, you're not qualifying for World Cups. That's a huge problem. That is, it's disgraceful. Now while doing this, they've sacrificed Test cricket. No one's going to Test cricket games. You look at the Indian Test match this week. No one's going. No one cares. Wait until the ODI series or T20 series, then people will be stacked. But the point
Yes.
is, why are you putting so much money into this format when they're not even qualifying? What's the point of it? Why don't you just get why don't you just get your egos aside and cut your losses and say, you know what, it's not working. We haven't qualified. We've put all this money back into white ball cricket. It hasn't worked. Let's go back to where we were a powerhouse in the 80s, where we dominated Australia. Australia don't get dominated in any era. In any era. In that era in the 80s, they made Australia look like a schoolboy team. Australia in those years won the Ashes in England. There were no bunnies. They won the Ashes in England. They won Test match series against India. West Indies came on with Curtly Ambrose took 8 for 10 at the whacker. 8 for 10. Or something like 8. We destroyed them inside a session. That's dead. That's never going to happen again. That's dead. Because they've put so much resource into this white ball cricket and it hasn't came off. And that's the most disappointing, sad thing about this is that they're not stopping this. They're going to keep on doing this. Good. They're going to keep on saying, you know what?
I still don't. I still fail to understand this thing. That if West Indies Cricket Board has putting a lot of money on the CPL, the CPL is happening in the
Yeah.
West Indies.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are making a lot of money out of it. Why? Look, if you look at the Indian team, obviously they have IPL, right? They give a lot of money to the IPL. Whatever they earn from the IPL, they put their money to the domestic cricket, and they put their money to give their players also. Why don't do this? Why don't West Indies Cricket Board do the same thing? If they're putting the money on the CPL, if they are earning something, why don't they give money to their players so the players can obviously play for the West Indies cricket for the longer period of time? They don't have to play all the other leagues. They are going around to play the major cricket league, which is happening right now, MCL. They are playing all over the world, because you can understand, obviously you can understand this thing, that West Indies cricket board doesn't provide a lot of money to their players. That's why they are prioritizing the leagues over their country.
Well, the problem is also adding on to that is these different islands, Trinidad, Tobago,
Yes,
Jamaica.
yes,
They're not
yes,
one. They're trying to do their own thing,
yeah.
and that's making a huge divide. Now, do you think all those West Indies players in the 80s came from Jamaica or came from the same place? No. And back then they
No,
came. They were divided. They were one. They all were all in and one for one, all for one. Today,
Lucas,
West Indies,
Lucas,
Jamaica.
Lucas, you have been,
Um,
your video has been paused.
no.
Yeah,
So, okay. Sorry.
keep on going.
Yep. So sorry about that. So Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, all these little islands that's controlling the West Indies cricket.
Yeah,
Barbados, they don't care about each other. They just want
yeah,
to control the board. Now, if you're having all these little islands, all these little parts where cricketers are coming from, because they just don't come from one place, by the way, they come from all over the Caribbean. If everyone's trying to have control, where's the stability? There is none,
yes,
because they're all trying to take control of the West Indies cricket board. Now, there was rumours and all this nonsense saying, well, maybe West Indies should disband and they have their own islands or countries, whatever. That's just ridiculous. It's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. But
yeah,
at the same time, if you're not interested in being a team and you just want to be an independent country, then go for it. But don't go to the
yeah.
ICC and say we want all this money because we can't support it on its own. So
Look, there is a very, if you are obviously the World Cup will be happening in India, and you can well imagine how sorry obviously supporters were from West Indies, that they have to watch the World Cup without their country been qualifying in this World Cup. You can well imagine the fans were disheartening in this qualifying round. They have been beaten by a below average team, and it's quite an awful scenario in the West Indies. So we'll obviously, I think if we keep on discussing the same thing, I think the discussion will be longer. I think we will focusing on this test match, what has happened in this test match. Lucas, go for it.
Well, there's not really much to discuss because it was that one-sided.
Yeah.
In India, we mentioned the pitches. It was like India were like playing at home, slow rank turning
Yes.
pitches, batting only once, making a big score, and then bowling out the opposition in 2 sessions.
Yes.
Having said that, India's opener on debut, Jaiswal.
Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Yeah, fantastic debut. Regardless, now I know there were some people saying, "Oh, well, he's only playing the West Indies."
Yeah.
He can't help that. He can't control who he plays
Yes.
against.
Yes.
And nonetheless, that was a magnificent 150. He scored more than that, but we'll just say 150.
I hope you know the story of Yashasvi Jaiswal. It's quite a strange story of Yashasvi Jaiswal. He come from a very small town, from a very small state. He was living earlier in UP. Went on to move in Bombay. His father was obviously was doing a job. I think he was having a, what do you call it? Street food. He was obviously
Yep.
was having a business of street foods, and from there, Yashasvi Jaiswal went on to play in Maidan, Bombay Maidan, went on to score a lot of runs. Again, he was given by opportunity by Rajasthan Royals, went on to score a lot of runs. He went on to play for India under 19, where he shined a lot. He scored a lot of runs. And when we see him in the under 19, obviously we knew that he's going to be a superstar. Again, given the opportunity by Rajasthan Royal, went on to play the domestic cricket, also scored a lot of runs and scored a big hundreds in the domestic cricket. Went on to pick by this Indian team, and obviously he. I people were saying that it is quite a average against the West Indies average team, but he doesn't have any fault. He's very young.
Yeah.
He's playing in the international cricket. He's having a first test match. Obviously, he's not playing in the home. He's playing from away from home, playing against the West Indies, scoring those big 170 runs was quite remarkable.
Now, watching him bat, I think he likes bat on ball. He likes turning over the scoreboard. I think against better nations on faster pitches, that bat on ball approach he might struggle with. So he might have to look at that in the future. Slow rank turning pitches, you can afford to get bat on ball because it's just not going to do anything. So that's probably one thing he does need to look at, probably learning to leave the ball, especially if he's going to play against Australia in 2 years' time, when the pitches are very bouncy, very fast, bowlers bowling 140, whether Stark will be there or Hazelwood will be there. Besides the point, he'll face bowlers that are world-class and are very quick. So that's something he might have to learn, is to leave the ball. I noticed in the final day of day one, when he made a couple of reverse sweeps, the final over of the day against a spinner. I found that.
You can well imagine. You can well imagine a player from this generation. They play reverse sweep. They play a sweeps. Obviously, in the Test cricket, they don't afraid taking the chance to the spinner. And obviously, if you see the player from the 2004, 2005 players, I'm talking about, they were not leaving the crease apart from the Virendra Sehwag and the Chris Gales.
Yeah, well, not only leaving their crease, but the final over of the day, just advancing down the wicket for reverse sweeping, if you don't mind, not a conventional sweep, a reverse sweep. So very brave. I'm sure Virat Kohli down the other end. Rohit Sharma down the other end probably would have said a few words to him just to tell him to calm down a little bit. No, he's got a big future. Regardless of who you're playing, if you make 150 away, okay, the pitch was more in your favour, the opposition's not there, but like we said, it's not his fault. He can only play who he plays against. A 150 on debuts is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think the only player who's got a more high score than him was Shikhar Dhawan, who did that against Australia.
Against Australia in home.
Yeah. So it was a fantastic debut. He didn't bat again. He didn't need to bat again. But he's definitely one for the future. Another player that played on the same pitch, by the way, Shubman Gill. He's struggling a little bit away from home. I think it's always funny when the openers do so well and you come in at number 3 and you only make 6 or 7. It happens so much in Test cricket. It happens all the time.
Look, Shubman Gill himself decided that he wants to bat at number 3. I think Rohit Sharma has obviously talked about in press conference that Shubman Gill has a word with Rahul Dravid, the coach, that he wants to bat at number 3. And obviously, that Cheteshwar Pujara is not in the team. Obviously, he has been dropped, and for whatever the reason is. But looks like Shubman Gill wants to bat at number 3 to have a breather. He doesn't want to open. I don't know for how long he will bat at number 3, but I think you can't judge a player by just one innings. I think if you're looking at the overseas conditions, I think in Australia he was good. In England he did struggle, and here West Indies, I think there is a two test match series. He failed in just one innings. You gotta watch him for a long period of time. How he will succeed at number 3 by playing at number 3. I think in the T20, in the ODI, he will definitely be opening. But in Test cricket, I don't know for how long period of time he will be batting at number 3.
batting at 3 is a very tough position. It's probably the most toughest position batting, because number 3 you don't want to face the new ball, but you don't really want to face the old ball when it starts reverse swinging. That's why another player, Manus Labuschagne, is getting a little bit exposed to the new ball in England. So batting at 3 does have its risks when the openers aren't doing great. Basically, well, when you lose an early wicket, you're basically an opener anyway at number 3. So you're basically a third opener. Now in Shubman Gill's case, it's also not a complete nightmare when you have to wait so long to bat. Steve Smith said that he gets so nervous, he can't sit and watch a test match when he has to wait so long. So that's also another problem you have to put into consideration. Number 3 is the worst spot to bat for all those different reasons. Waiting time, you might be in first ball. First ball, there might be a wicket you in, and basically you're an opener.
You have to face the music.
If you're not a natural opener and you're at number 3, you will struggle. Now Shubman Gill has got opening experience, so he should be used to a new ball if that comes to play. But it is tough waiting all that time, and there's a wicket and you get in, and then you make 7 from 20 or whatever. It does make you a little bit silly. But number 3 is the hardest spot to bat. So unfortunately, Shubman Gill didn't get a second chance. He may only bat twice this whole series. He may only need to bat twice. The way West Indies are going. The way West Indies are going, he may not even bat again. Jason and Rohit Sharma might make doubles the next Test match. The way West Indies bowlers are going. So it is a hard position to play, but I'm sure he will get better the more time you play there. He is a natural opener, so he should be used to that. But time will tell. Also in this Test match, Virat Kohli did well in this Test match. So it keeps on going. Virat Kohli, another international 50. Probably should have got 100. Got dropped a couple of times. That's West Indies' problem for dropping catches. They've been a complete nightmare.
I think he has been dropped 2 times.
Yeah, that's West Indies' fault. Their fielding has been atrocious over the last 2-3 years. Atrocious in the World Cup, and pretty poor in this Test match. Not just with Virat Kohli, for other catches. So Virat Kohli made runs. A little bit funny with the keeper. I would have thought they would have stick with KS Bharat. But
I think they want to strengthen their batting lineup. That's why they are obviously having go with Ishan Kishan. I think KS Bharat has given a chances in the India. I think he didn't capitalize. Went on to play for obviously World Test Championship final also, where he didn't capitalize. So they thought they're playing overseas condition where the ball, I think you can strengthen their batting. So that's why they went on to play Ishan Kishan. And obviously Ishan Kishan also will be giving chances because Rishabh Pant is obviously have been out for a long period of time. So I think they need to capitalize one or two. If you look at the standard of the keeping, KS Bharat is the natural keeper. I'm not saying Ishan Kishan is not a natural keeper. KS Bharat is a much proper keeper than Ishan Kishan. But if you're looking at the batting wise, Ishan Kishan is much proper batsman than KS Bharat. KS Bharat, very sadly, he hasn't capitalized on the given chances which India got.
It's also important where you play as well. If you're playing in England, if you're playing in India, you probably need a specialist keeper over a batsman, because of the rank turning pitches, the swing and seam in England. So in a conditions like West Indies, it would be more beneficial for a batter. But it was very nice of Rohit Sharma to let him get a single, because for a while there, it was looking like he wasn't going to make a
Rohit Sharma. Yes, Rohit Sharma got frustrated. He told him to score a single run at least, and we will declare.
So that was very nice of Rohit Sharma to tell him that. So unfortunately, he probably didn't get the debut he wanted because West Indies failed to do anything with the ball. Again, that's not his fault. So again, he may not bat this series. So
Yes.
So we'll never know how good he is. He may not get a chance to bat. So maybe Rohit will promote him up in the order, give him some kind of hit, see what he does. But it was just really one-way traffic. It was dominated by India. They're going to dominate the second test, obviously, because West Indies, they're not going to make green tops. They're going to make the same pitch, slow, turning, dead pitch. And it's not going to suit their fast bowlers.
Yes.
Why you're feeding that to the likes of Ashwin, who's taken so many wickets it isn't funny. Jadeja taking so many wickets isn't funny. Why you want to give them an advantage is beyond me. Madness, ridiculous. So Ashwin's probably going to take another 10 wicket match next match in Test number 2.
Yes.
So just dominated by India. Ashwin keeps on taking wickets. Strange that he got dropped, and he didn't play in the World Cup Championship final.
World Cup final, World Test Championship final. Yes.
Yeah, that was very strange. I think a man that's taken over 500 Test wickets, you might want to play him in a team. But they went with Jadeja. Mind you, the pitch that day was a green top, so it probably would have mattered either way. But still, India will win this second Test match very easily. They'll win by an innings. They'll probably do the same thing, roll West Indies for 150, bat and make 450, 500, and then just roll them again inside 2 sessions. West Indies, unfortunately, I'm just sick to death of this West Indies team. Unfortunately, we have to play them in Australia this year. I've got a day 4 ticket for this Test match in Adelaide against West Indies.
I don't think that will go on so far.
Where's my Bible? Where the hell is my Bible? Damn, I got no chance of seeing that Test match. At Adelaide.
Definitely not.
No chance whatsoever. So already my Test summer's been ruined by West Indies. We haven't even played the damn series yet.
Yes.
So they're not going to get any flowers or commemorations from me, West Indies. I can guarantee you right now. Because the way they've been performing last 12 months, they'd be lucky to survive 2 days in Australia. Because what Australia are going to do, they're going to do what they did to South Africa. Here's a green top pitch. Congratulations. See you later. Goodbye. So plus with the pink ball in Australia. So even more good luck to you. So I've got no empathy whatsoever for this West Indies team, and you probably cost me. You ruined my summer because it's a 4th day ticket. So thank you very much, and just goodbye. Goodbye. I don't want to hear from this team. I don't want to see this team. I don't want to see this team in Australia. I don't even want to see them in general on my damn TV. But in respect to India, they are playing for points, and if they go 2-0 up, it helps them qualify for the next cycle of the World Test Championship. And for your sake, Gurveer, they will go 2-0 up. They will win this series. But we will do a review for that second test. Why we even need to bother for that, I don't know, because we will just talk about the same old thing. But we'll do it anyway. Gurveer, any other comments you want to make before we go?
Yes, obviously, and then I think Indian Test team also has been going through some of the transition period. I think if you're looking at Cheteshwar Pujara has been dropped, Shubman Gill is batting at number 3. Yashasvi Jaiswal has been opening in the side. Jaydev Unadkat obviously isn't playing in the side. I'm not saying that Jaydev Unadkat has been going to be young. Obviously, he's played his Test cricket. First Test cricket, I think, in around 2010 or 11, if I'm not wrong. During MS Dhoni was the captain in the South Africa, but obviously he has been performing very well in the Ranji Trophy, so that's why he has been given chances. Mohammad Shami is not playing in this Test series. I think he will be playing the important Test series in India and whatever it is. Umesh Yadav has been injured; he's not playing in this series. Shardul Thakur is obviously playing in this match. Ajinkya Rahane has been one of the most quite shocking decision for me, that Ajinkya Rahane has been, obviously he's been picked. Obviously, I'm not complaining about that. but he has been again the vice captain of this Indian team. You can well imagine the player who was not been in this team for the last 18 months. Suddenly, he returned to this international team, and again has been given the vice captaincy. It has been quite a strange. I don't know what the selector has been thinking, because if the player is not in this side, said how can you give vice captaincy? I understand this fact that he has been a very good leader. He has went on to won the Test series in Australia by beating that Australian team.
Yeah.
But it is quite a strange decision. The player who's been out of this Test side, and suddenly, if he's back, he has been given the vice captaincy. So there are a lot of
Well,
shocking things which has been happening, but suddenly, there has been a lot of new player who has been given the chances in the series. Go ahead, Lucas.
well, I'm shocked by the Pujara dropping. But having said that, if you do want to transition, this is the perfect
Yeah.
series to do that.
Yes.
The
Yes.
opposition isn't great. If you want to bleed youngsters, a perfect opportunity. Just look at Jasarul. Now the other Indian pacer, the left armour, that's from Ranji.
Jaydev
Um,
Unadkand.
yeah.
Jaydev Unadkand.
So the pitch didn't suit him, so it's very hard to judge. That wasn't the right
Yes.
pitch. It's not the right pitch for any. Even Siraj didn't do anything. Kumar, Roach, Holder, they did nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pitch for them. So you can't really blame him for not having a good test match because it wasn't his fault. So if you do want to produce youngsters, you want to bleed new talent, series like this
Yep.
would be a start. But just that, you do have to also consider that. All right, the opposition isn't great. What are they going to do against a world class opposition?
Yeah.
Now I know India played Bangladesh in this cycle in India. Again, another perfect opportunity to bleed youngsters. And then
Yes.
they've got an away series in Australia. Now you don't want to be too complacent. You don't want to say, oh well, we've beaten Bangladesh, we've bled young players. Jasarul's made 100 against West Indies. He's made 100 against Bangladesh. If he does, if you bring that hype to Australia, where the quality is much better, you can get caught out very quickly. And that's just not
But
just not that's not just
but if they went on to play, if they kept on performing in the test side, they will be giving a chances. But if they
of
don't
course,
perform,
yeah,
then they
yeah.
will have to win. Just
And like I said, if you can't perform against the West Indies or Bangladesh, you probably don't deserve to be playing Test cricket.
yes, obviously.
So that's why it's no disrespect to West Indies or Bangladesh, but it's the perfect time to bleed these characters.
Yes.
And I'm presuming when India do play Bangladesh at home, I think they play them this year at home, isn't it? Before or next year before the Australian
Yes.
tour.
Yes. Yes. I'm not.
So
Look, some of the players have been given a clarity. I'm talking about the Indian cricket team. Ishan
yeah,
Sharma is one of them. They have been given the clarity that they have moved on from them. I think Ishan
yeah,
Sharma, very sadly, he will not be able to play for India again in the Test cricket. And very sadly, it is the end of the very good career. I think he was bowling really well, and suddenly, uh, if you look at the lot of fast bowlers, the Prasidh Krishna is one of them. He's obviously injured. He's playing. He started bowling in the NCA and National Cricket Academy, and obviously there are other Umesh Yadav. Mohammad Shami is also there. Umesh Yadav has been injured. That's why he's not playing in the series. Mohammad Shami has been given a break, and Mohammad Siraj is there. Bumrah will be returning after some point of time. So there are a lot of fast bowlers who will be giving the chances, and some of the players are injured. So I think Mohammad Siraj, Ishan Sharma, Mohammad Siraj, I think Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Shami, Bumrah will be traveling to the Australia. I hope they will all be fit
well,
during that period of time. And I think they have Cheteshwar Pujara. I'm not getting the clarity that Cheteshwar Pujara has been dropped, or
yeah,
they have been. I think there are a lot of talk about that selector have told them that told Cheteshwar Pujara that the door has not been shut yet. But I don't. I think it's like very funny that every single point of time that if Team India went on to fail in the big finals like World Test Championship final, Cheteshwar Pujara always win the snap got in this test side. He always gets
yeah.
dropped. But it's quite strange. I think I'm not getting the clarity. Yes, I'm not getting the clarity on Ajinkya Rahane also. I don't know for how long period of time he gonna play in this Test cricket. Uh, if he will perform, then he will went on to play again in this Australian series. But he has to get on better with his performance because he has been also inconsistent for
Yeah.
this long period of time. That's why he has been dropped. Virat Kohli again, he's been playing good for the last 1 year, and Rohit Sharma will be
Yes.
captaining on this side. So the transition period has been obviously has been very had to happen, but this is the right time that the transition period has been happening. Rishabh
Well,
Pant will be coming back after
yeah.
I think he will take more 7 to 8 months, and he will be back in the side. And Ruturaj Gaikwad again the proper opener. He's been the third opener in the side. So there are a lot of young players who has been in the side.
Uh, we just mentioned opportunity. Siraj is a perfect
And
example.
one more thing to say that I think recently Ajit Agarkar, I hope you know this cricketer Ajit Agarkar, who has played for India for a long period of time. I think he has taken six wicket in this famous Adelaide win against Australia, and during 2003 or 2004 series. Ajit Agarkar is currently the chief selector of this Indian team, and he has been known to take the bold decision. Okay, so I hope he will be selector of this Indian team. He's been obviously made this Indian selector officially right now. Look how many bold decision he will take. But I have a simple request to all the selector. Okay, whoever they drop, I just want them to give the clarity that this is the reason that we are dropping you. You need to work out on this. And if the doors are closed, you tell them clearly that doors are closed for you.
Yeah. Well, I do remember that. I do remember the play. I remember that Test match at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah,
I remember them. I remember the memories of Harbhajan Singh video recording their victory in that Test match.
yeah,
So from the change room. So because I was there that day when they did win.
yeah. I think
And
Rahul Dravid. Yeah, Rahul Dravid scored a double hundred. BVS Lakshman
yeah,
scored a 170, 80 odd runs on
yeah,
that match, and Ricky Ponting got a double hundred. I think Australia went on to score first in the first inning. The score was around 540, 550, whatever it is. India went on to score 520. The lead Australia got a lead of 30.
yeah,
Australia went on to score 230 something, and India went on to chase that score.
yeah.
It's quite funny that is even scoring after it's quite a rare sight. Obviously, if we are discussing about the past, that it is quite strange that a team scoring 500 still went on to lose that match.
Well, it reminds me of the Adelaide match against England, where England made 500 and
Yeah.
they lost.
Yes.
Well, mainly that was down to one Shane Keith Warne.
Yeah.
But no, that happens a lot in Adelaide, where the team usually bats first, makes a high score, and they end up losing. That's not a rare. That's not uncommon in Adelaide Oval. But
Yeah.
just before we wrap up the show, mention opportunity selection. Siraj, when he was the Ranji bowler when they toured Australia.
Yep.
Now, because he bowled so well in Australia, he's now a main bowler, a main strike bowler.
Yep.
When he's always going to be picked. He's the big three: Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, and now Mohammad Siraj, because he's taken the opportunity.
Yes.
So
Yep.
if you take an opportunity in this Indian team, you're going to stay in this Indian team. Just like Mohammad Siraj, and Mohammad Siraj has been a very good bowler, world-class bowler for India in the last 2 to 3 years. So it's just amazing what you do with your opportunity. Now with Jay Sarul, great start to his career. Now let's see if he can back it up, because Siraj backed it up after Australia. He didn't go away. He didn't perform
Yes.
badly. He backed it up. So you've got to keep backing it up regardless of the opposition. I know that's tough. I know West Indies aren't doing that well. But back-to-back hundreds is very tough. Very tough.
Yep.
But even a 50 or 60 or 40 something, To say, you know what, I'm staying. I'm staying in this team. If you want me to go out of this team, you have to perform well in Ranji, and I have to be dropped. And you can't drop me when I'm in this form. So Mohammad Siraj has done that. Richard Punt, when Richard Punt came into this team as a keeper, he did that as well. He's undroppable. He's going to come straight back into this team. And we wish him a speedy recovery. A very bad, tragic accident with his car, but he's getting better.
Yes, but if you're talking about Rishabh Pant, I still want the selector that don't hurry him up in the test squad. If he's getting fit, he at least play at least 7 to 8 games in the domestic. At least got his touch back and then went on to play in this Indian team.
Of course, yeah, and we wish him all the best because it was very serious what happened. But the good news is he is getting better, and he apparently he's training now. So not training to play, but he's back training. He's exercising, which is a very good sign. So we wish Richard Punt all the best because we all know Richard Punt's character with Tim Payne, the sledging, and the babysitting and all that. And Richard Punt, forget about all that. He's a very good cricketer, actually, a very good entertainer of the game, whether it's white ball or red ball. So we hope he gets back really soon, preferably not before Australia. That would be nice. But with with all due respect, we hope he does get back soon. He'll be playing. As he said, 8-9 months he's probably away, so he's getting there. But with Pujara, it's a shame that he's been dropped. He gave India so many years. World class batsman. I would have loved the opportunity to bowl to him if I was in my prime, because I bowl forever in the nets, and I think we'll just grind the hell out of each other. I would have loved that. So, Pujara, if you are watching this, give me a call, mate, and I'll happily. I don't know how I'm going to go now, because I can't bowl 110 these days. I'm just a pathetic little keeper. So my time's passed as a bowler. But no, it's a pity that he's been dropped. These pitches suit Pujara, actually. These slow pitches would suit Pujara.
No, I don't think. I don't think his record in West Indies series is quite. His record in West Indies has been quite awful. But I don't know. The selector has given him the clarity that the door has not been shut yet. I hope they have cleared all the messages to the Cheteshwar Pujara, and he's playing domestic cricket also. So let's see what happens. I think we have discussed. Go ahead, Lucas.
Well, he's playing in English County. So
no, I think he recently played in the Lip Trophy. That happened. I think he finished today itself also.
Yes. So he's been playing in the English County, alongside Steve Smith. For a little while there anyway. He was playing with Steve Smith. So that would have been a hell of an experience. Pujara and Steve Smith batting at the same time. Damn it, where was I? No, if that is the end for Pujara, which I hope not, it's been a wonderful career, a very wonderful career. He's had a great series in Australia, where he's had man of the series performances in Australia. When the first time when they came down before the COVID, he was fantastic in that series. He's always been a thorn in Australia's eye. But I do wish Pujara all the best if that's the end. And Gurvi, before we wrap up, anything else you like to say?
No, I think we have covered all the things, and we'll be returning back to the second test match. Okay, and I hope it went on to play. I hope we'll get to watch 4 or 5 test matches.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath, mate. So this will probably be over in 3 days. But anyway, regardless if it's 5 days, 3 days, 2 days, we will be here for the next test match, the second test match of a 2-test series. Please join us for then. We are saying goodbye. Thank you, Guv, for joining us. You can add him on Twitter. Add me on Twitter, Lucas R15 Sky. And Guv, thank you for joining us today, and we will see you in the second test match.
Yep. Bye. Thank you guys. Do like it, subscribe it, and hit the bell icon.
Like and subscribe, guys. Any questions, type below. Make sure we're respectful. And we will see you in the second test. Thank you so much.